Everything's set. Super. There we are. Hi, everybody. Hope you're all good. Let's just get the screen full size. Happy Thursday. Let's just get ready to go. A few people signing in. Super. Okay. Hope you're all keeping really well and enjoying the weather and enjoying the workouts on our channel. I know that there has been a few different ones coming up over the last couple of days. So we'll just give it another 30 seconds until a few more people join in and then we'll get started. Today's class is a little bit more advanced. So if you are a complete beginner and new to Pilates, I would suggest going back and trying some of our earlier classes. Also just keep in mind if you have any injuries or any limitations, just work within kind of your own comfort zone, your own capabilities, and you can progress as you start to get stronger. So yeah, we're going to make a wee start. Let's bring ourselves up to our feet and we'll start with a little bit of mobility. So I want you to bring yourself onto your mat or onto your space. Take your feet about hip width apart and we're just going to start with a nice roll down. So breathe in through the nose, breathe out, tuck the chin towards the chest, roll the shoulders forward and round the spine as you roll all the way down. Now, when you're doing this, you're trying to round your back. So if your hamstrings are tight, allow the knees to bend a little. Breathe in and then breathe out to start to lift up through your core, restack through your spine and switch on those muscles across your upper back that just help you to extend and open up across the chest. Good, same again, breathe in, breathe out to roll down. So nice and slow, just getting the spine moving, upper, middle and lower back. So we're all quite good at moving the upper back and the lower back, but sometimes that middle back can be forgotten about. So try to think about a lovely even rounding through all parts of the spine. Good. Okay, last one. You're going to roll all the way down for me. And I want you to walk yourself out into a plank position. So take your hands out in front, bring them down to under your shoulders and come into your plank. Now, if this is too much, just drop to the knees. But if you can, try to keep the knees up, squeeze the bum muscles and lift the belly button up towards the spine. I want your shoulders to draw down away from the ears and your eyes should be looking at the floor, just a few inches in front of your hands. Good. We're going to do a little bit of a rock forward and back. So breathe in and rock forward. Your weight comes into your shoulders a little bit more. And then rock back and your core should work a little bit harder. So inhale to come forward. Exhale to come back. Now notice how my hips aren't dropping. So they stay level and you're moving forward and back in a nice horizontal plane. So still breathing. And trying to keep that constant tension through the tummy, so not allowing the hips to drop. So the body isn't like a washing line here, you're in a plank. Good, do two more, inhale forward, exhale back. Last one, inhale to come forward, exhale to come back. Now stay here for me. Option to make it a little bit tougher, lift your left leg off the floor. Rock forward, rock back. Left foot comes down, right foot lifts. Same again, rock forward, rock back. Now, if it's too much, stay double leg. As you lift one foot off the floor, you have to switch on a little bit more through those side muscles of your core, which will help you to stabilize and prevent you from twisting. So trying to keep the pelvis nice and level. You've just got one more each side. Forward, back. And then last one with the right foot up. Forward and back. Good. Come back to the middle. Take your feet a little bit wider so you've got a bigger base. And we're going to do some shoulder taps. So really slowly and with lots of control, bring your left hand to your right shoulder, hold it, set it back down on the floor. Right hand to left shoulder, hold it, set it back down. So one of the things that is done really is really difficult to do well here is to keep the pelvis from twisting. So try not to drop the hips. I want you to keep that stability through your trunk. Keep the tummy in, work the shoulders and work those tummy muscles. If you want to make it harder, take your feet a little bit closer. Good, one more each side. Press away from the floor with the opposite hand to make sure the shoulders don't collapse. Good, last one. Pop the hand down and then pop the knees down. Good. Now I want you from here to take your hands a little bit wider so they're nearly the width of the shoulders. They're nearly wider than the shoulders. I want you to squeeze the bum and draw the core in and we're going to come into a nice press up movement. So bend the elbows, let your chest come down towards the floor and then push away. Now I want you to make sure the bum doesn't start to stick out behind you. So keep your glutes squeezed tight, your tummy lifted up and in. Elbows bend and you push away. So keep going for me. I want you to make sure your elbows don't flare out to the sides. So if I turn front ways, make sure we're not winging out. We're tucking the elbows, pulling them towards the thighs and trying to keep that nice work in the triceps and in those shoulders. So just three more. Good, well done. Option to go up into a full press up if you've got this strength. Last two, keeping the ribs away from the floor. Good, last one, come down, hold it halfway. Pull the elbows tight, lift the belly button up and in. Just hold it for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Good, push right back into your shell stretch. So you reach your hips back to your heels. Lift the tummy away from the thighs so you feel that lovely curve in the spine. Breathe in and breathe out to relax. I can't get my words out today. Relax your shoulders and just allow your shoulders to round and your upper body to rest. Good, okay. You're going to come onto your side for a little bit of rotation. So if you've got a cushion nearby or a block to support your head, grab that and then have a lie down onto your right hand side for me. So when you lie down on your right, I want you to pull your right shoulder directly in underneath you. Your left shoulder is directly above. Your hips are stacked, so top hip is over the bottom hip, and then the knees are bent. Hands reach out in front, palms together as if you're clapping your hands. So lower half stays still, the hips don't move back, the knees don't lift. Your top hand is going to reach up into the air, breathe in. And then as you breathe out, turn your head, turn your chest, but don't let those knees move. Hips stay stacked. Breathe in here. And then breathe out to wrap yourself all the way back around to your start position again. So we repeat that. Inhale to let the arm float up to the ceiling. Exhale to turn your head, turn your chest, but not any lower than those ribs. So the belly button stays pointing forwards, the hips stay stacked, and the knees are heavy. Inhale again. Exhale to wrap all the way back around again. Well done. Okay, your last one, we're going to hold for a second. Inhale and exhale. So take the arm up as usual. Turn the head and the chest and then hold here. Breathe in again. And as you breathe out, I want you to imagine I've set a big heavy weight in your left hand. And it's just taking you into that little bit more range. But again, do not lose that connection of the knees with the floor and that stacked pelvis. And then come all the way back to your start position. While you're here, I just want you to take your left hand, grab your left foot, pull your left heel towards your bottom, and squeeze the left bum muscle to encourage yourself to open the front of that left hip, so extending through the hip joint. Using the glutes to push the hip forward, but keeping the core pulled in, so it's not just your lower back that's arching. So you're trying to point your left knee down underneath you. Don't let the knee swing forward. So just hold that stretch, inhale in, exhale to release off. Okay, you're going to spin onto your back. So before we do the other side, we're just going to stop in the middle. Push your cushion away from behind your head for now. Take your feet down so that they're hip width apart and your lower back is neutral. So in other words, there shouldn't be a massive arch under your lower back that your whole arm could slide into, but you shouldn't be compressing your lower back into the floor either. So keep that little bit of a lift, belly button and pubic bone are level. Hands behind the head, interlace the fingers and start with some ab preps for me. So breathe in, prepare, breathe out, tuck your chin, lift your chest and peel your shoulder blades off the floor. Slowly release back down again. So inhale to prepare, exhale to move. Now what we're doing here is just getting the very top of the core switched on. So the muscles that pull your ribs down towards your hips, predominantly your six pack, but I want you to think about really flattening your core as well. So using that deeper layer of your core, your transversus abdominis muscle, which tightens in like a belt, it braces and stabilizes you. So we're not letting the lower back move. We're not allowing ourselves to collapse through the lumbar spine as we lift through the top half of the body. Really important skill or strength to have. So that ability to stabilize that lower back is really key. Good, so just 3 more. As you lift, remember you're breathing out. Inhale as you lower. Last 2, the hands are nice and light on the head, so we're not pulling the head forward. Good. Last one, come up and hold it for me. Now try to keep your shoulder blades off the floor. Reach your arms forward, the hands come to the outside of the knees. Without letting your chest go down, reach your right arm back behind your head, bring it back to the side of the knee. Take the left arm behind the head, bring it back to the side of the knee. So the whole time you're keeping your chest up. And what's difficult about this is that your rib cage will want to flare, your middle back will want to extend. You're having to work hard to keep those ribs pulled down and in. If you want to make it a little bit tougher, there's the option to go double. So both arms reach back, keeping that shoulder area nice and relaxed so we're not tightening up around the ears and we're still pulling those ribs to the hips. You've got 3. Inhale as you reach forward, exhale as you reach back. Last 2. Good. Well done. Last 1, reaching all the way back. And then bring the arms forward, grab the back of your thighs and pull yourself up to sitting. Rock back so your tummy is drawn in and your back is nice and curved. Rock forward a little rock back a little. So it's that scoop into the tummy. We're not allowing ourselves to come all the way up. I don't want you to sit up right here. I want you to keep that tension in your core. Good. Pull the belly button in and focus on that vacuum effect through your tummy. Remember that big transversus muscle tightens. It pulls you in. It doesn't allow you to strain or dome through that waistline. Good. You've got 3 left. Nice. Last 2. Well done. Now hold your last one back. Stay there. I want you on that edge. You're quivering. Your arms are out either side of your thighs. We go for that reach again. Back with your right arm and then back with your left arm. Now this will feel tougher than it did when you were down a little bit more on the floor. Your feet will start to feel light. If it gets too much, grab the back of the thighs, just hold. Single arm if you can, and double arm if you're really going for it today. Just maintain that connection under the rib cage. So remember, don't pop and arch through the back. So the back does not change shape. The extension is coming from the shoulders, not the back. We have 3. Breathe in. Exhale for 2. Reaching up. Good. Last one. Up. All the way forward. Hold it. Rock back an inch more. Hold for 4. For 3. For 2. And 1. Well done. Okay. Roll yourself over onto your left hand side. We're going to do that thoracic rotation. So bring your cushion in. Prop yourself up. Left shoulder right in underneath you. Hands out in front. And hips are stacked. So nice and kind of smooth as you move here. Nothing too kind of forceful or aggressive. So breath in, take the arm up. Breath out, rotate. So remember what we're trying to do is very much isolate the middle part of the back here. So if you don't keep your lower half still, it will try to take part as well. Inhale in, exhale, come all the way back around again. Good, so 2 more for me. Just think about what you're feeling through your body right now. So where you're feeling this, it should be right through the middle of your spine. So the rib cage area of your back. The part that's most responsible for rotation. Get a little bit through some of the other parts, but this is the part that should do most of the work. Last one, breathe in, take the arm up. Breathe out, turn. And then just hold this one. Second inhale breath, and then that second exhale breath to really help you melt back into a little bit more range. Checking you're not letting that top hip roll back. And then breathe in, breathe out, come all the way around again. Good. Now grab your right foot with your right hand. Pull the heel right in under your bottom. And remember that little squeeze of the right bum muscle and that opening of the front of your right hip is really going to help you find the length through your quads, your hip flexors, keeping the back nice and stable. And then release it out. Good. Roll onto your back again for me. We're coming into core, round 2. So push your cushion away and bring yourself into an imprint position. So those of you who've been doing class for the last few weeks will know imprint is when you tilt your pelvis back and naturally the lower back comes towards the floor. Don't get confused with a jamming of the back into the floor and a pushing from the feet. It's all about using the core muscles, shorten them to pull the hips back to the ribs. Your right knee comes up over the hip and then your left knee comes up over the hips. So you notice my thighs are vertical. I'm not collapsing them in towards the chest. Heels are always a little bit higher than the back of the knee to keep some work in those hip flexors as well. So you're going to start off with some toe taps. Nice and simple. The foot comes down, the toe taps the floor if you can, and come back up again. Now, while we start off here, I want you to just really get those basic principles nailed. So remember the reason you're doing this is to get everything properly activated. So I want you to feel the lower tummy muscles flatten. You draw in and down through the belly button. You maintain that connection of the lower back on the floor and you're breathing nice and consistently. So believe it or not, the breath is there to help you. I know it can confuse a lot of people, especially when they're just getting started out. But as you breathe out, your ribs will naturally come down and in, and that will help to hold you in the correct position through that core and through that spine. Good. Now, if you're finding this quite easy, you can make it a little bit more advanced by stretching the leg out. Longer lever, a little bit more load. I want you to make sure you still prioritize the lower back and that tightening sensation. Sometimes I just pop my hands on my tummy and it helps me to remember to pull away from them to keep that nice braced sensation. Good, you've just got 4 more. Inhale, exhale as you lengthen. Last 3. Focusing in on that nice relaxed upper body as well. Last 2. Good, okay, last one. Legs back to tabletop, hands behind the head again, like we did in round 1, except this time as you tuck your chin and lift your chest and come up, shoot your right leg out nice and long. As you roll back down, the knee comes in. Next time you come up, left leg. So you're working the whole core here. You're getting the top of the core as you lift up into that ab prep. And you're getting the lower part of your core as you stabilize your lower back into that imprint. and make sure that the leg moving doesn't cause the back to arch. Now, one part of this movement I think a lot of people forget about and neglect is the roll down. So rolling down is not just a thud back down onto the floor. It's a careful roll all the way down and maintaining that nice tight sensation. So as you bring yourself down, you're keeping the connection of the back on the floor. So it's not just when the leg's extending and the chest is lifting that it's important. It's important on the way down as well. Good, you've got 3 more. Whew, last 2, lifting up. Draw the knee in. Good. Last one, up and hold it. Knees in tabletop, chest is up. Little pulses, up an inch, release an inch. Up an inch, release an inch. Feel your ribs pull to your hips. Feel your shoulder blades get higher from the floor. Good. Now, if you want to go all out, little advancement is to extend the legs as you pulse, bend as you release. Extend, pulse, bend, release. Good. 4. Perfect. Lower back down. 3. Inhale in. Exhale 2. Good. Last one. Lengthen out and then hug the knees to the chest. Have a little rock left and right and just release off through the lower back and relax through the core. Alrighty, you're going to bring yourself up to sitting again. We're going to do a little bit of work through the shoulders and the back of the arms. So the first thing I want you to do is to just bring your hands behind your hips. Your fingertips are pointing forwards. And I just want you to watch what I do with my shoulders. So look at the front of my shoulder. It rolls back and the shoulder blades squeeze together. So one of the positions you definitely don't want to be in this exercise is collapsed shoulders and the kind of head shriveling down in towards the ears towards the shoulders. So open the front of the chest, collarbones wide, and then the feet are flat on the floor. Press into the feet, squeeze the bottom, and lift up. So you're almost in like a full kind of bridge position with the hips right up and through. You've just got a slight crease in the hips. So from here, I want you to take your weight back more so towards your arms, your shoulders. Remember the chest is open. Bend the elbows, bring your hips to the floor. Push through the arms to come back up again. So you lower the bottom down, you lift the bottom up. Now, if this is too heavy, especially if you're just trying to build that upper body strength, bring your feet down flat and take your weight a little bit further forward. If you want to make this tougher, you take that weight right back over the hands. And if having the knees bent still isn't enough, you straighten those legs. You keep the hips right up and then you lower and lift. So the tricep muscle should really be working here in the back of your arms. Just make sure, again, the elbows are not flaring out to the sides. So they're wrapped in behind you and you're trying to hide them away from me. Good. You've just got 4 more. Try to keep your depth. Don't let the hips sag down too much or you'll not have that much range to work with. Last 3. Press up and through. Last 2. Well done. Last 1. Hold it up for me. Now I want you to bring your hips right up and through. Squeeze your bum. Pull your shoulder blades together and focus on lifting those hips. If your legs are straight, it's the same. Lift the hips right up and through. Hold it for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1 comes down. Well done. Whew. Okay, you're going to come onto your knees for me. We're going to do a little bit of lunging. So I want you to start with your right foot in front and your left foot behind. So first thing I want you to do is just get your positions right with your feet. So the heel is under the knee on the front foot and the knee is under the hip on the back foot. Your pelvis is really important in this next move. So it's obviously when you're in this position, you could tilt your pelvis forward and arch your back, or you could tilt your pelvis back and slightly round and flatten out through the back. So just practice that movement for me for a couple of reps. Tilt the pelvis forward, tilt the pelvis back. Think about pushing the bottom out behind you and stretching through the front of your tummy, and then pulling the belly button in and tilting pelvis back. You're going to need that awareness in your lunge to make sure that you've got really good position through your back and you're not allowing yourself to just collapse into lumbar spine. So you're going to keep those feet kind of in the same position. Curl your back toes in underneath for me so you're gripping the floor, and then carefully bring yourself up to standing. Feet stay in the same place and both legs straighten. Now in this position, I want you to do that little tuck under slightly with the pelvis. So notice how I just pull my hips in under and my body is completely upright. You're going to reach your arms up to the ceiling as you bend your back knee and come down. And then the hands come down by your sides as you stand up. So it's full range, all the way down, all the way up. Inhale as you lower, exhale as you lift. Now, if you've got the range, I want you to try and tap that knee on the floor. Not offload your weight onto the floor, but just that little tap to measure your depth every time so you're doing nice consistent reps. Good. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed down away from your ears. And make sure your front knee is tracking over the middle of the foot. So the front knee should be over the ankle, not rolling in or rolling out. Good, you've got 4 more here. Standing tall. Last 3. Back leg should be working. Remember the core is pulled in for 2. Okay, last one. Come down, hold it for me. You're nearly at the floor. Do little pulses. Up an inch, down an inch. Good. Focus on keeping that tummy drawn in. Focus on melting the shoulders down. You've got 4. You've got 3. Last 2. Now hold the 1. Here's where we extend the back leg. We lengthen out into a diagonal. And then we bend the back leg and come to upright. So extending the back leg. Notice how my hips don't really lift. The pelvis just tilts forward and back. And you let yourself lengthen into that nice long diagonal. Bend the back leg. Straighten the back leg. Good. You've got 2 more. Lifting up. Lengthening out. Last one. Pointing the fingertips to the ceiling. And then pointing out in the diagonal. Now hold here. You're going to give me little pulses again. Little bends of the front knee especially. Working into that quad. You've got 5. 4. Pull the shoulders down and back. 3. 2. Now hold the 1. Option to hold or option to lift the front heel. Lower the front heel. Lift and lower. Lots of stability through the ankles. Keep the weight spread through all of the toes. Keep pressing the arms back so you're connected through those upper back muscles. And your belly button draws to the spine. You've got 3. Lovely work. You've got 2. Great job. Last one. Hold it up. Heel is high. Can you bring yourself down any lower? Get that nice deep lunge. Hold it for 4. For 3. For 2. And 1. Well done. Come down. Perfect. Just straighten the front leg. Take a hamstring stretch. So you're hinging from the hips. Pushing your kind of chest towards the front of your foot and reaching your sit bones to the wall behind you. And then bend the front knee and open into a nice hip flexor stretch. So you're lengthening through the front of your left thigh. So just repeat that again. Straighten the front leg, hips go back. And then bend the front leg, hips go forward. Okay, you're just going to hold that there for me. I want you to take your left hand a little bit more to the left. So you're going to lean slightly that way. Take your right hand and reach for your left foot. Now this is quite an intense stretch. So don't beat yourself up if you can't quite reach your foot just yet. But if you can, you're trying to pull that heel towards the left bum muscle. Try to lift your chest. And you're going to get a really intense stretch down the front of your left thigh muscle. So your rec fem muscle, which travels right down over the front of your hip, over the front of your knee, is a tight muscle for a lot of us because we sit a lot. So lengthen out, breathe in, keep the chest up. Exhale, release. And if you can't reach that foot, just pushing forward a little bit more into that hip flexor stretch will still have lots of benefit. Okay, now from there, I want you to turn to your left. So your right foot stays out, and then your left knee is still on the floor. If you're on a hard floor and you need your cushion, totally fine to bring that back in. So your setup position here, your right foot, your left knee, and then your left hand are going to be in one straight line. So if I line myself up with the front of my mat so you can see, I'm trying to create that nice linear kind of plane through my body. Push your hips through. So notice how, if I turn sideways, notice how my bum's not sticking out behind me. I'm pushing it through so that my left bum muscle is working and so that my pelvis almost feels like the top hip is stacked directly over the bottom hip. My left shoulder is directly over my left hand. So lots going on. So I want you to make sure your tummy's drawn in. Your waist is lifted so you're not sinking. Push away from the floor. And your right leg is going to lift up and lower down. So this is a tough exercise for that right glute med area. So the outside of your glutes, the side muscles, they're so important for your balance, for your knee stability, for your hip stability. So really work as you lift your foot up. Try to keep that lift through the underneath waist and try to keep the space between your ear and your left shoulder. Remember, your underneath bum muscle should nearly be working as hard to try and keep the hips pushed through so that the front of the body is nice and open. Okay, you've 4 left. This is definitely an advanced exercise, so if you find it tough, you can regress it down so you're on your side with your legs out under you on the floor. 3. Okay, last 2. Now hold the last one up. Give me little pulses. As you pulse, I'm just going to show you that regressed version with yourself down and you're just on your forearm. So keep working for me, pulsing for 4, for 3, for 2. Now hold the 1. You're going to bend your knee, bring it in front of your hip. Extend your leg, press it away. So knee bends and then leg extends. Squeeze the bum muscle, both sides. Try your best as your knee tucks in, not to stick your bum out so you're not crunching the body up. It's just coming from the fold at the front of your hip. Last 3. Good, legs getting heavy. Last 2. Well done. Last 1, hold it out. Reach your top arm to the ceiling. Pulse again, 5. For 4. Last 3 and 2 and 1. Well done. Bring yourself down. Have a sit. You're going to stretch that right glute. So bring your right heel just to the outside of your left knee. Sit up really tall. So imagine there's a string on the crown of your head pulling you to the ceiling. And then you can walk the foot in, hug the thigh to the chest, and turn to the right, and you'll find that length coming into the outside of your right glute. So inhale in, sit nice and tall, and then exhale. See if you can pull the knee a little bit closer. Well done. Okay, uncross the legs. Bring yourself over onto your hands and knees for me. We're just going to do one final little exercise to be that right glute. So I want you to take your hands down directly below your shoulders, knees down directly below your hips, and find a neutral spine. So making sure the back is nice and long, you're not rounding, you're not arching. So you're going to extend that right leg out behind you. So lengthen it away. Imagine someone's grabbed your foot and they're pulling your leg away from your pelvis. You're just going to start off with a lift and a lower. So it's lift up, lower down. Now what you want to do here is use your core to keep the brakes on that lower back. So in other words, you don't want to lift your leg so high that your lower back starts to arch. You want a stable trunk and a nice strong right bum muscle. You'll not work the glute as much if you lose the control through the back. So working for 4 more. Spread your weight through your hands. Last 3. Well done. Last 2. Okay, now hold your last one up. Keep that bum muscle engaged. Bend your elbows and let your body tip forward. Now notice how I maintain a diagonal and I push away. So I bend the elbows, chest comes down towards the floor, pass my hands, and then push away. So when you're coming into this press up type movement, wrap your elbows in towards your rib cage, keep your neutral spine, and you should be coming down to the point where your hands are nearly beside your ribs, not your ears. So we're not done here. Good. Last 3. Try not to twist and open through the hips. So keep your right hip shining down. Last 2. Well done. Last 1, bring yourself back to that neutral position, leg out long. From here, you're going to give me little circles, circling through that right leg, trying not to let the right side of the hip lift up. Keep it level, and then change direction with your circle. Lots of control. That's it. Come all the way back through center, hold here. Little bend, little press. Bend, extend. Imagine you're a swimmer pushing off the wall to go into your next length. So press through the sole of the foot, fully extend the leg for 4, bend, press for 3, lock the core in, 2, lift the ribs, last 1, hold, tiny pulses, heel goes up an inch, good for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1, well done, bring your knee down, good job, lovely. Okay, from here, have a spin around and bring your left foot in front. We're going to go straight into that lunge on the left side, get more. Left foot forward, heel under the knee, and then right knee under the hip. Grip the mat or the floor with your toes, and then just take your time, bring yourself up to standing, keeping your balance, and then you're going to take those hands all the way up overhead. So just make sure, as I turn front to face the camera, you haven't got your feet one behind the other, your balance is going to be really tricky. Give yourself hip width between the feet, pelvis is square, and as you come down into your lunge, your hands go up. So notice my front knee position. It is definitely not turning in. So tuck the left hip in, the left knee is in front, and you're still able to see your big toe. So as you lunge, make sure that you're keeping those positions through the joints. So it's not just to prevent injury, but the reason we work through those kind of nice neutral positions, you have so much better kind of power transfer, so much more efficient movement when we're in the right positions. Good. Last 4, lifting. Last 3, back knee bends to the floor, 2. Well done. Last 1, hold it. Now from here, back leg extends, take the body out over the front knee. And then back leg bends, take yourself to upright. So remember, I want you to feel like you're lengthening, sending that body out. And then as you bend, your chest comes to upright. Remember that pelvis. You pull the tummy in and then you set yourself to upright. Good. You've got 2 more. Lengthen and then bend. Well done. Last one, lengthen. Hold it for me. Hold it here. Give me little pulses. Down an inch, up an inch. Really working into that front quad muscle. The bum as well. Heavy heel. Spread your weight through the whole foot. Pull the shoulders down to the back pockets. 4, 3, 2. Hold the 1. You lift the heel. You lower the heel. So it's lift and lower. Strong ankles. Nice and stable. Working the calf a little bit. Well done. You've got 5. Breathe. 4. Push those hands back. 3. Good work. Last 2. Well done. Last 1. Heel up. Keeping that depth. Sink a little lower if you can. You pulse for 5. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Heel down, knee down, and then hands to the floor and push back into that hamstring stretch. Pull the toes to the shin if you have the range and try to lengthen through the back rather than just rounding. So lengthen out. And then push the weight forward, come into your hip flexor stretch. So coming back, you can adjust the front foot if you need to for more of a stretch. And then coming forward, push the hips through. Okay, and then from there, when you're all the way back, you guys will all just spin to your right. I'm going to turn so that I'm still in view. And then you're going to check your foot, your knee, and your hands are in line. So again, if I just come forward, so I'm in line with the front of my mat, you'll be able to see left foot, right knee, right hand. When I said this earlier to your class, quite short arms, so I find that sometimes it's easier for me to have my hands almost propped in like a sprint start position with my hands. But if you get your wrist all the way to the floor and you don't feel like you're too collapsed, then you can do that. So keep your length through the right side of the body, the tummy drawn in, push the hips in underneath you. Okay, so from here, we start with that lift up and down. So think about your class not just as a sequence of movements. Yes, that is what we're doing, but there's reasons for them. You have to connect with that sort of deeper level to fully engage with the muscles and what you're trying to achieve here. So it's not just a case of kind of following along with the choreography. Think about trying to feel it through those positions as I'm talking. Can you feel your right bum muscle squeeze as you try to push your hips in under? Can you feel your right waist lift up and in to help you keep the length? Good. Can you feel your shoulders relax down? Perfect. Now work and challenge yourself. So trying to keep your height every time. Don't settle for a 90% rep. Let me see 100%. 4. Good. Last 3. I hate this exercise. I don't know why I program it too. Good. Last one. You hold it up for me. Now stay lifted through the core. Holding it up. Good. Little pulses. Up an inch. Up an inch. Good. Work the outside of the bum. 5. Last 4. Nearly there. 3. And 2. Now hold the 1. The knee bends. It comes in front of the hip. Extend away. So try not to let your knee drop lower than your foot. We want to keep the hip open. Knee bends. Leg lengthens. Keeping your back long, not rounding your spine. Good. You've got 4. Press away. Last 3. Leg out long. Well done. 2. Great job. Keep your height. You've got it. Last one. You hold. You pulse for 4. Lift for 3. For 2. And 1. Well done. Come down. Perfect. Little stretch for that left glute. Have a sit on your bottom. Take your left heel to the outside of that right knee. And then lift up really tall. Pull in through the tummy and hug your thigh towards your chest. A little bit of a turn to the left just to find that length through your left side. So sometimes when we're doing these stretches, if we're tight, we'll slump and we'll let that tension out really through the lower back. So lift up. Imagine you're trying to tip your pelvis forward so your weight comes onto the front of these sit bones. Inhale in and exhale, release. Good. Okay, so we're on to 4-point kneeling. I want you to set yourself up just like we did on the other side. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips, back is neutral. And then that left leg is going to extend out behind you. You're going to raise my foot to the sofa. So crawl forward a little. Bring yourself into that nice straight line. So like I said on the last side, the pelvis is level. The left side does not lift higher and we don't start to twist and open the front of the left hip out. The other thing you might try to do is shift right. So keep your weight balanced from side to side. So we lift and we lower. Good. Tapping the toe on the floor each time. So this is a really good exercise. I know it seems really simple, but a lot of us use the lower back where we should actually be using the bum muscles. So we should be extending the hip, not extending the back. So what you're doing here is lifting that heel up so the front of the leg lengthens. We open up through the front of the hip and we keep the back stable. Shoulders down away from the ears. Imagine you're balancing a ball across your lower back. It's not rolling off to the right side. Good, you've got 3. Lift, lower for 2. No seesawing through the middle of the body. Last one, hold it up. And then we do those little presses. We bend the elbows, the weight comes forward. Try to hold that lovely diagonal line. Push back up. So when you're doing this, pull the elbows back towards the thighs. Remember, the chest is coming past the hands, so it's not like a little peck on the floor. You keep your head in alignment with the rest of your spine, so don't allow that head to drop down. Good, strong through the arms, don't lean right. You have 3. Breathe in on the way down, breathe out on the way up. Last 2. Good, nice work everybody. Last one, hold it, flex the foot, little pulses. Up an inch, good, up an inch, work the glute. 4 and 3 and 2. Hold the 1, little circles with the hip, not just the ankle. So you're moving right inside that hip socket. Good, change directions. There's no swinging around. The ribs are hiding from the floor. The shoulders are down from the ears. Good, you hold it here, bend, press to finish. Bend, extend, bend. Fully lengthen out the back of the knee. Feel the bum muscles work for 4. Bend, press for 3. Long spine, last 2. Well done, and 1. Bring the knee in and have a shell stretch. Round your spine, sit your hips back to your heels. And then just let your body come forward a little bit so your thighs, your chest comes to your thighs. Take your left hand over to the right and take a deep breath in and find that length all the way down the right hand, sorry, that's the left hand side of your body. So a nice big stretch through your lats, through your obliques, maybe even into your QL muscle at your lower back. And then swap sides, take your left hand across, bring your right hand to meet it. Breathe in, and as you exhale, just relax. See if you can creep your hands a little bit more left and sit your hips a little bit more right. Good. Come back to the center for me. Just stay on your knees, walk your hands right up for me. You're just going to do a little bit of rolling through the shoulders. So just give the shoulders a nice roll up and back and down a few times. And then just clasp your hands behind your back. Push the hands away from you and open the chest. You can extend your back a little bit here, totally fine. Really good stretch to do if you've been sitting over a desk all day. So helps you just to stretch through. Front of the pecs, pec minor, right across the chest. Lift the hands a little higher if you can. Good. And then from here, just cross your legs. So swing the feet out from under you and cross your legs if you can comfortably do that. Take your left hand to the floor. I want your right arm to come up and over, and you're doing a nice side bend. Now your aim is to keep your sit bones on the floor. So if you can keep your sit bones on the floor, allow your elbow to lower down on that left side so you're getting an even deeper stretch. And then just windmill across and do the other side. Left sit bone stays down, left elbow pushes up to the ceiling. Check you're really in a side bend and not flexing forwards. So you should be able to do this with a big wall running down in front of you. Come back up to the center. Take your hands in front of you. Come forward to hands and knees and uncross those feet. With the toes curled in under, just lift your knees up. Extend the legs. Take that stretch down the back of the hamstrings. And just walk your hands in towards your feet and roll yourself up to standing. Lower, middle, upper back. Good. Okay, so just to finish, interlace the fingers, reach the hands right up. Take a nice deep breath in, shoulders lift. You can roll right onto your toes if you want to. Let the ribs stretch up and then the hands come down, the shoulders come down. And then just finish with a lovely big roll. Up and back and down. And roll all the way down to finish. Tuck the chin to the chest. Roll the shoulders forward. Knees bend and the body gets nice and relaxed. So allow gravity to really help you feel like the back of your neck is lengthening out. The muscles of the jaw, the face, relaxing. The shoulders nice and loose. Maybe you want to take a little swing left and right. And then take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, start to roll back up to standing. And think about making your body taller than it was at the start. So lower back, middle back, and upper back. Roll, shoulders back, chest opens. And you're all done. Well done. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. Any feedback, as always, you can just fire an email through to any of the guys' queens. And yeah, I'll hopefully see you next week. There's a potential there's going to be a Monday mobility class as well, so keep your eyes peeled for that. That might be coming to the schedule. There's just a few little changes happening at the minute. So that should be on a Monday, I think a similar time, which is a little bit slower, a little bit more focused on getting range through the joints, a little bit more flexibility incorporated into that as well. So a good one if you're sitting a lot at the minute working from home. So thank you all so much, and I'll hopefully see you all soon.